Hey, Aquarius, welcome to October 2022. We're going to talk today about your sky this month, which involves some financially relieving circumstances, if not breakthroughs, and clarity and final relief around the question of your home, where you should live, where you do live, what you're going to do where you live, and what you do in that home. All this stuff is going to sweeten up for you in the sky. And last but not least, if you are thinking or wanting to travel to a foreign land or foreign shore, things look really good for some travel opportunities for a lot of you guys, local or domestic, it doesn't matter, or far away. So let's get going. First of all, if you're new to my channel, I am Lori Lothian, and I am a sky reader who uses the codes of Hellenistic and Babylonian astrology, among other things, to decipher the stories the sky is telling you about your life. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, welcome. Please hit the bell for notifications, like, subscribe. You know the drill. It helps the channel grow. I've got a couple of things that are going on this month. I'll just briefly share with you. One of them is I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers as I record this in the middle of September. You want to help me reach that threshold and jump over it with a big hurrah, please consider jumping into my contest. In the description box, you'll find out all about how you can participate to win free readings and a bunch of other prizes with me. All you have to do is sign up for my newsletter and or make a comment in my comments field and like and subscribe, of course, and you get entered to win prizes. And I'll be doing that draw for anyone who gets into the contest. The draw will be done on Halloween night. Alrighty, all right, and let's get rolling. By the way, your rising sign is always the most accurate. Don't doubt that. If you don't know it, go check my tutorial on how to cast your sign by yourself using free online software. It's a video tutorial. It's free. Use your rising sign. And then your sun and moon, you can listen secondarily for other information that may or may not resonate. So let's start off by talking about, I did say Aquarius at the beginning, didn't I? I'm having a moment, but I think I did. We're talking about you Aquarians. Me, I'm one of you, Aquarius rising. All right, so I'm going to start by, because everyone gets it, nobody's cookie cutter, guys. Like, I'm not kidding you, right? This is there's so much stuff going on. Oh, you can't see it. There's so much stuff going on this month. It's absolutely effing insane. So I'm covering the things that I think are germane to your sign. First of all, for us Aquarius rising, by far, the most important thing is that Saturn not only will go direct, but he also, I'm so sorry about that. Talk about Mercury retrograde. One more ding and I'm going to turn my phone off. Saturn will go direct, but also Saturn will finish his last of 4 squares with Uranus, which has been happening since 2021 February, back in June as well last year, and in December. This rare event was occurring, and this is very much for each of us Aquarians significant because we are Saturnian beings ruled by Saturn. Our ruler is squaring in great dignity in Aquarius that Uranus. So that means that Saturn is in the sign of us, right? Going through our rising sign area, whole sign house system wise, going over our sun or moon, whichever way you put it, we've been under Saturn's thumb, but he's our ruler. So he makes us serious, determined, sober-minded. We've been feeling a lot of this since December of 2020, when he entered for good into that part of our sky, though he tiptoed in the spring of 2020, and he's just going to leave in March, right? So we're almost done. And this last pass where he's squaring Uranus in our 4th house of real estate, the same 4th house, home, where we live, where the North Node has been traveling since January and will be till next July. It's been so disruptive for Aquariuses around our root, our nest, where we live, what we're doing in and from the home, maybe about also our ancestral line junk in the closet, maybe about our mother or family of origin stories. It's all been intense. And so the first 2 weeks of October, Saturn and Uranus are finishing up. They're both retrograding. They're moving toward each other, and they're just finishing up. They come within a smidgen of perfecting a square. They don't quite make it. It doesn't really matter what the days are. Let's just put it this way. We're all feeling, as Aquarius, we're on the final leg of a marathon of aggravating and intense change. And we are Saturn. We are resisting or careful or cautious or steady and fixed. And we don't want change. And so that's a part of us, Saturn, that's looking at all this change and rebellion in the area of our chart that represents our home. So to give you an example, I moved last July to Vancouver from Montreal, yes, in the throes of all of this. And now I'm moving back to Ontario. Just came up with the big boom. Check out my big boom webinar of late July, early August, that I needed to leave Vancouver because my landlord wants her place back, and I have friends and family back in Ontario and a new relationship there. So I'm going back to Ontario. But I tell you that you can't make this stuff up, right? So the good news is by July of next year, some of this intensity wanes, but this is the last time. There's that magic thing behind me called the lamp. The last time. This is our last time for this gritty tension. Now, Saturn, goodness gracious, thank God, goes direct on October the 22nd. And he's been retrograding now, I think, since April. My memory tells me so. And so when our Lord of our sky is retrograde, we're retrograde. We're kind of like backpedaling on some areas of our life. I went back and did Sober Sisters again. Let's sober up, Lori, and not drink wine every night with my dinner. Or you might have gone backwards and reassessed some goals and things in your life around your career, your significant relationships, and where you live, as he retrograded through the first house, or the house of us. And now he will go direct October 18th. And that direct momentum is important for us. We're going to feel, second half of October 18th onward, a feeling of, oh my God, now I know where I'm going. Now I know what I'm doing. Now I feel like myself again. It's not internal anymore either. Our power, our decisiveness, our realism, our sense of, authority is going to be externalized. We're coming into our full embodiment of our capable, diligent, hardworking, stern, sober, reliable, dutiful, responsible, and an essence of a Saturnian ruled Aquarian. Now, that's good. That's the big news story for us. But there's some money stuff coming up as well that's quite sweet. So that's the money release story. So Jupiter will retrograde into our second house on October 28th and be there until December 20th, with some forward momentum around the third week of November. Long story short, we're going to get some money perks from this. And it's all like Jupiter is going back to finish what he started. So he was in the spring of 2000 and my brain. I think it was the spring of 2020. But anyway, he tiptoed into the first 2 degrees of our money house. Okay. And we'll be like May of 2020. But anyway, he spent a couple months, May to July of 2020, in the first 2 degrees of Pisces. Then later on, astrologers, I can't believe we can memorize this shit. Then later on in December, around the 19th of December, 2020, he entered into our money house and stayed there until May 10th. And that energy was also planting seeds throughout the entirety of our second house of earnings for more money, but he's going back to finish the job. So look for between October 28th until December 20th, especially third week of November onward, for kind of like a full harvesting and flourishing around financial gain, around things we do to create income and in our life. It's also a pickup around possessions. We'll get maybe a possession we need, or eliminate a possession we don't need, right, as he retrogrades, and then pick up a new one we do need the third week of November to the 20th of December. But all said and done, possessions are going to flourish, money will flourish, earnings will flourish. It's a good money story. All right. 3 planets go direct, and we already talked about Saturn. Let's talk about Mercury. We like Mercury direct. As in our chart, we like him direct. In modern astrology, he exalts himself in Aquarius. So Mercury will go direct in the sign of Libra, and he will do that around the 2nd of October, and he will do it from the 24th degree of the sign of Virgo. So he will be there until the 10th of the month of October. So between the 2nd and 10th, we're seriously looking at some financial gain here as well. And the gain is coming because this is a house of mortgages and loans, taxes, tax rebates, spousal money, shared monies, how you can leverage money, investment money. Some investment could take off. I have a bit of Ethereum, maybe it'll fly off the shelf or something. So things are really picking up as Mercury goes forward here. We may have gone over back over some old ground during his retrograde, and that started the retrogradation. Well, I'm not even going to talk about it. Go watch my videos on it. But now that he's going direct, October 2nd, more money momentum, and also really good momentum around things to do with occult mysteries and magic. If you're learning anything, he's a study research energy. It's also about the dad. This 8th house is a house of the dad. I had an appointment with a medium today, but he canceled. And I'm doing this recording September 19th. Bet your bottom dollar I won't get a chance to see him till sometime after Mercury goes direct, which is going to be October the 2nd. So move it forward. Mercury, a psychopomp, house of dad, good for mediumship stuff, magic, mysteries, all that stuff. And then he will go October 10th, the end of October, into Libra. Good news for all of us who are thinking of traveling to foreign lands. This will work well for getting the paperwork, the visas, everything approved. There's a lot of rumor in Canada that Canada is going to release its vaccine restrictions at the border for people coming into our country on September 30th. That'll be very much that Mercury becoming visible on the 29th of the month, but then eventually on the 10th of October, as he moves direct through foreign shores and lands, yay for all of the getting rid of the red tape around travel for people wanting to come into my country. But I bet you the US will follow suit. So for Aquarius is where we get to plan that trip and get it all worked out. And Mercury here will be like planning the trip, booking the trip, setting everything in place to go somewhere to a foreign land. This is really good for you, Aquarius, if you really want as well, October 10th to the end of the month, to pick up an educational course or sign up for or enroll for a school or apply for a school. And it's also really, really good in terms of communications regarding a father or father figure in your life, picking up as well in those last 3 weeks, the 10th to the end of the month. And anything else I say about that? I think I'm going to stop there. Pluto goes direct October the 8th in Capricorn, and this is our 12th house, and this is where power, Pluto move forward. And he's been here since he's been in our 12th house since 2008. We're really transforming our psychological, spiritual, past life karmic area and digging up the dirt there. A lot of past life regressions for me since 2008. And so this is power going through this house, power to persevere, overcome, to move forward in some area of self-undoing or self-sabotage could be going on here for some Aquariuses as Pluto goes into direct motion October 8th. So look forward to that. The full moon that's coming up in Aries will happen at the 16th degree of Aries on October the 9th. And for us people, us Aquarius people, this is a third house story. We planted seeds in our third house of siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, short trips and travel, skills-based learning, online platforms and our websites, and teaching and learning as well. We planted seeds here, and writing. We planted seeds here in April of 2000 and first 2 weeks of April of new moon 2022. And now we're going to harvest. It's going to be ripe. It's going to be fullness here. What were you doing back then? I know what I was doing. I was actually asked when I first started creating, launching, and doing my Sky Reader course. And, you know, well, that Sky Reader course has a full moon in the house of teaching skills-based learning, which is a good harvesting for me of that story. And that will happen, as I said, the full moon on October the 9th. Now, full moons shed light on things that are not easy to see often, you know, like because it's a full light in the night. So there may be big reveals coming from a sibling, big full moon lights, information or knowledge from an aunt, uncle, cousin. Sometimes these third house stories are about other people. Also, a big full light on a friendship from a childhood story, especially elementary school and high school friends coming back to you in the light of a full moon in the month of October, around the 9th, add 2 weeks. Mars will square Neptune October 10th to 12th, again, November 20th, and then on March the 12th. So November 10th, November 20th, and March the 12th. And this is going to be around 23 degrees of either sign, where Mars is traveling 23 degrees or so of our 5th house of love, romance, and children, creativity, business enterprise, and money luck, and Neptune, the god of delusion, in a money house, but also in the house of our voice and our speech. So there's tension here, 3-part story. It's going to unfold over a lot of months. We might be thinking, oh, we've been making all this kind of momentum with our children, or forward directionality with our online business, or our independent business, entrepreneurial school stuff. And all of a sudden there's this kind of, what's this? I might have deluded myself. I must have been in a fantasy space. What have I not seen that I needed to see about love, children, business, and creativity? Well, anyway, all of this is going to be in our face, you know, around the 10th, 11th, or 12th of October, coming back for review November 20th, and then finally on the March 12th. That's because of Mars's long stay in our 5th house. Now, Mars is going to be there, guys, August 20th to like the 3rd week of March next year. Like that's just like 7 months in Gemini, very rare length of stay. So we're making a lot of progress around creativity, a lot of progress around entrepreneurial things, a lot of momentum, focused decisions, and passion around a new love and romance story. But there's a lot in the middle of that. So pay attention to that Neptune square. Yeah, Venus will trine Pluto October 19th. This is happening from Venus in Libra and Pluto in our 12th house. This is definitely a foreign lands, foreign shores kind of vibe, but there could be a hiccup or there could be a delay around courts, legal affairs, money involved in legal and courts affairs, or a pleasure and enjoyment in travel to foreign lands or with a female. Some of this is a little bit of a glitchy vibe around October 19th. And so you may have a hurdle around those stories at that time. Venus, however, will be in Libra going into the heart of the sun called a star point or a cazimi. And that's happening for the first time in 200 years for the whole world. Yes, in 29 degrees of Libra. And this is going to be a very important turning point on October 22nd. Now, for you guys who are Aquarius, this is the house of book publishing, okay? And it is the house of foreign lands, and it is the house of higher learning, and it is the house of God and truth and wisdom and soul and foreign shores, if I didn't say that. So a lot of stuff happening here. And father-like figures, fathers and father-like figures. So big energy here. Now, Venus is a benefic, and she's going into the heart of the sun at that critical 29th anaretic degree. It's a very powerful degree. We are going to see new developments in our 9th house that are going to take up to 4 years to fully show themselves. And yet we'll get the full gist of it by August of 23. However, whatever is seeded here on the 22nd of October regarding the themes I mentioned for the 9th house, it is likely we need visibility from Venus, and she doesn't become visible from underneath the beams of the sun until about the 5th or 6th of December, more so by the middle of the month. That's when we get the full Monty around things to do with the themes of goodness and blessings in foreign lands, court cases, higher education, father and father-like figures, book publishing, and on and on. All righty. There's an eclipse. I'm going to have a way longer, way better video than this on, like, this is just the lowdown on the eclipse, but there is an eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio happening on October the 25th. This is an eclipse that sits in the sky in a place that has a lot to do with our career. We have been, as Aquarius rising, going through this feeling of needing to change and let go of and surrender a career path that we have been on. I think for me, it's my one-on-one client sessions. I've seen like 3,000 clients in 4 years or more. I mean, it's ridiculous. And, you know, I've learned so much. I look at, what's the word? Like, it's the field work, but I love teaching, and I love doing videos for you guys. And there's other projects like writing I love to do, but I don't have time for those other ones, like the writing especially. So I will be scaling back, I know this, dramatically on my client openings and spaces in 2023. So this eclipse for us is about 2 degrees of Scorpio conjunct Venus, a benefic, but yeah, out of dignity. So we can talk about that in the later video. But nonetheless, Venus is a benefic blessing this story. And especially if you're an Aquarius born at night, Venus is your sect light, team partner. So some very positive new beginning, new moon, Scorpio in our career space, okay? But also connected to the larger story that we have been letting go, surrendering, and releasing something in our career. If you go back to around May the 16th, 2022, when there was a full moon in the same place at an eclipse as well, you might get a sense of how this theme keeps playing out about completions and new beginnings in career directions. Anything else I want to say about that new moon eclipse? No, that's about it. Finally, Jupiter will move. Oh, I talked about that already. Did I miss anything? Gosh, I really whizzed through us Aquarians. I think I covered everything that I needed to cover. What a miracle. Thanks for listening, my fellow Aquarians. And don't forget, please like, subscribe. If you always want to learn astrology, you catch this video before October 15th, jump aboard my Sky Reader class. We have 8 classes live with me. We take Thanksgiving weekend off for the US holiday. So it will end up finishing the class around, I think, the 10th of December. And it's got Facebook group and tag me and feedback for me and homework assignments and a collective group of learning astrologers and live Zoom calls where you're learning the art of astrology, sky reading your own sky so you can time your best life. So check that out. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for being a part of my channel. Help me hurdle over the 10,000 degree mark. Ciao, ciao. And yeah, check out my contest.